there, I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. So glad to have you with me as I take you around San Diego. I sincerely hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. We do have a lot to get to this week, though, including another mass shooting in Colorado. There was a show of support for the victims in Hillcrest this week, a gathering to mourn the lives lost in that deadly nightclub shooting and show that hate has no place in San Diego. Investigators in Colorado Springs are still collecting evidence and interviewing people who were in Club Q during Saturday's attack. Nearly 24 people were shot, 5 were killed. They have been identified as Daniel Aston, Raymond Green Vance, Kelly Loving, Ashley Paw, and Derek Rump. Army veteran Richard Fierro was among those who helped stop the shooter, who police say is now facing murder and hate crime charges. The grief has spread across the country. In Hillcrest, activists, law enforcement, and political leaders came together to mourn. As CBS 8's Richard Allen reports, they shared a message of solidarity with the victims, as well as one of defiance.
Well, that's right. Hundreds took to the streets of Hillcrest tonight, marching from Rich's nightclub here to the Pride flag, which is now at half staff in remembrance of the 5 victims killed over the weekend at that gay nightclub in Colorado Springs. Their unifying message: stop the hate.
We are a gentle, angry people. And we are
armed with candles and signs and raising their voices, San Diegans showed their solidarity with the victims in Colorado Springs while also standing in defiance of the hatred that apparently fueled this shooting.
We're not going anywhere. We're still going to go to our gay bars, and we're not going back into the closet. That is our message to America, that you can hate us, attack us, and even kill us, but we're not going back.
You will not let them steal our safe places. You will not let them steal our joy. You will not allow them to rob us of our safety. We will keep San Diego one of the safest big cities in the country together.
San Diego Police Chief David Nislight says that police patrols will be increased in our local communities as they work together with law enforcement on the county, state, and federal levels.
So you're going to have some patrol units up here, some of our specialized units up in this area, along with some of our undercover officers, making certain that we're doing everything we can to keep the community safe.
I was devastated and angry that we have yet another mass shooting in this country.
Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs says this senseless shooting demonstrates the need to address gun violence on the federal level, from an assault weapons ban to closing loopholes that make it easier to access firearms.
We need background checks, but we also need to address the rising LGBTQ plus hatred that we're seeing, especially in the rhetoric of some of my colleagues in Washington, D.C. And we need to make sure that we're passing federal protections like the Equality Act.
And in terms of public safety, one of the most important messages shared over and over again tonight: if you see or hear anything suspicious, do not hesitate to report it to law enforcement.
Richard, thanks. And we've learned the suspected shooter is the grandson of outgoing Assembly member Randy Vopel, the former mayor of Santee. It's not clear if the accused shooter ever lived in San Diego, but his mother did. We've reached out to Vopel's office hoping to learn more, but have not yet heard back. So to learn more about Assembly member Randy Vopel, you can visit CBS8.com. We'll also have updates on the shooting investigation on our social media pages and the CBS 8 app. Well, meantime, we are getting a glimpse into the war against fentanyl. Customs and Border Protection released new numbers from all of California ports of entry. In just 1 year, more than 6,700 pounds of the synthetic opioid was seized. According to the DEA, that's enough to kill more than 1 billion people. Seizures this year were actually down about 23% for meth, 68% for heroin, but seizures were up 5% for fentanyl. We asked the U.S. Attorney about how the drug cartels are changing their strategies to build those massive profits.
There's also a desire to make profit by the cartels to disguise fentanyl into drugs that are being marketed as fake oxy pills because it's much cheaper to make those pills and to sell them, and then drives up their profit margin.
Yeah, just last year, the DEA issued an alert on the widespread drug trafficking of fentanyl-laced fake prescription pills and have already alerted the public of the sharp nationwide increase of fatalities. Well, this week, new numbers obtained by CBS8 show a huge jump in the number of mental health calls San Diego police responded to all throughout the pandemic at area schools. In this learning curve report, our Shannon Handy has a breakdown and what experts are now saying about it.
San Diego police responded to 17 calls during the 2019-2020 school year. Last year, that number nearly doubled, but the CEO of San Diego Youth Services tells me those statistics only scratch the surface.
Open the schools!
Since the start of the pandemic, we've heard from parents about the social and emotional impact it's had on their kids.
Multiple times my kids have been upset, depressed.
Studies, including one conducted by the CDC, found mental health issues increased significantly among the youth. Now, CBS8 has uncovered even more data showing just how significant the problem is here locally. During the 2019-2020 school year, San Diego police removed 16 students at the local elementary, middle, and high schools in San Diego and placed them on mental health holds. They removed an additional one student from Palomar College. Despite local schools going remote, SDPD responded to 10 calls the following year. Last year, nearly doubled from 2 years prior, and 30 students were taken in the midst of a mental health crisis.
I think what we've seen is kids have increased anxiety, increased depression.
Walter Phillips is the CEO of San Diego Youth Services, a nonprofit which offers prevention, intervention, and housing support for young people. He says while the calls to SDPD have increased, it's important to know all of the other kids who have been struggling with mental health issues, not just those who had to be physically removed from schools.
We're just one nonprofit in the community doing work with schools. We served almost 11,000 youth and families through our prevention, intervention, and treatment programs.
The SDPD data also shows calls were spread evenly amongst age groups, with high schools having reported only one more mental health call than elementary school students and 2 more for children in middle schools. That doesn't surprise Phillips, who says oftentimes young kids respond to stresses at home.
The families are disrupted because of economic losses, and then all the issues around health issues and uncertainty for these kids.
State Superintendent Tony Thurman has pledged to put more counselors inside schools, but Phillips warns there's a national shortage, saying in the future he hopes more people will go into the profession. In the meantime, he says both families and schools need to be proactive, know what signs to look out for, and don't hesitate to talk to your kids, even if you think they may be too young.
It's not just about reading, writing, arithmetic. We also have to attend the emotional needs of these kids while they're in school.
If you would like to be connected to youth mental health services, just log on to CBS8.com and click on this story. For CBS8, I'm Shannon Handy.
Shannon, so important. Thank you. Well, a warning, this next story contains graphic details and could be disturbing to some viewers. It was betrayal beyond description. A woman sexually abused for years by her father when she was a little girl is now suing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She says her mother turned to the church for help when she caught her husband sexually assaulting their daughter when she was 5 years old. But that abuse did not stop for years. We talked with her about her legal battle against the church.
Well, we got our newest member of the Bonita First Ward here, Elizabeth.
The first time that he held me in the hospital after I was born, he got an erection.
Elizabeth, we're only using her first name, was repeatedly sexually abused by her father from birth.
He started abusing me, like, literally as soon as they brought me home from the hospital.
Her family was deeply involved in the Church of Latter-day Saints, and her attorney says they attended this ward in Lemon Grove. Her father was an elder there, and she says he used their Mormon faith as a weapon, framing her personal hell as the path to heaven.
If you love me, you'll do this for me. And Jesus wants us to love each other. And I wanted to show him that I loved him, so I did.
Her father hid his dark secret, but Elizabeth's mother caught him in the act when she was only 5 years old.
I thought I was in trouble. I did not understand why she was so mad. I thought I had done something wrong and I was in trouble because she just started screaming. I remember running and hiding, and then just nothing really changed after that.
Elizabeth's mom did what they were taught to do.
When you have a problem, you go to your priesthood leaders. So that.
She was told along with her mother not to disclose, not to report it, and they would take care of it. And instead of taking care of it, they allowed the abuse to continue for many more years.
Sam Dordulian is a former prosecutor of sex crimes in LA and represents Elizabeth in her lawsuit against her father and the Church of Latter-day Saints.
They try to hide it. They told the family not to disclose it. They said they would take care of it, and they did nothing to take care of the problem. And the abuse, and Elizabeth kept suffering abuse year after year after year.
When they learned of continued abuse, the church finally excommunicated Maynard McFarland, but they still wouldn't turn him in to authorities. Elizabeth left home at 18, but took her trauma with her.
There were times where I would have to go to the, emergency room for 70 plus stitches because I had gone through an episode of self-harm.
In 2004, Elizabeth called San Diego police. They helped set up and record a phone call where Elizabeth confronted her father.
Do you remember when Mom called us?
The first time? Sure.
How old was I?
I don't even remember.
Come on, Dad.
Maynard McFarland was arrested, charged, convicted, and sentenced to 32 years for his crimes against his daughter. He served 15. He now lives in Chula Vista, registered as a low-threat sexual offender.
I still have flashbacks. I still have anxiety, depression. I mean, just a whole host of trauma.
The lawsuit is only possible now because of AB 218, a California law that extended the statute of limitations for survivors of childhood sexual abuse. It could result in a 7-figure payout from the church, but it would be cynical to think you could put a price on Elizabeth's suffering. Responding to CBS 8, a spokesperson for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said they have zero tolerance for any kind of abuse and that it, quote, is still reviewing this complaint regarding abuse that occurred more than 2 decades ago, but disputes the allegations that church leaders advised the family not to report the abuse of the father to authorities.
How is it right that so many people knew what was happening and just let it happen? I still can't answer that question.
Elizabeth was trapped by family and faith and feels fury now when she sees video of her baptism as a child.
It makes my blood boil, and the fact that his priesthood leader knew what he was doing and just allowed him to baptize me, yeah, that makes me angry too.
So what are you hoping for in this lawsuit that will change with this church?
The way that they finally decide, oh no, we need to make a change, is when there's finally some sort of pain, financial pain inflicted on them. And we're hoping that this church will realize that what they did and their policies in the past, which sometimes continues on to today, needs to change. The children must come first.
Just a powerful report there. Carlo, thank you. And for those wondering about the mother's role, the lawsuit says the church ordered her to not report the sexual abuse to law enforcement and that she, quote, justifiably relied on this policy and believed the church would protect her daughter. Church members are now mandated by law to report child sexual abuse to law enforcement or face misdemeanor charges. Well, as we see images of Iran, it looks like it's been ravaged by war. But Iran used to be a country full of culture, freedom, and arts, and women who were allowed to wear their hair however they wanted. Those memories of Iran are what many Iranian Americans in San Diego hold near and dear, including the mother of CBS 8's Neda Iranpour. Fareen Iranpour shares her memories of a free Iran.
These pictures may look like fun memories from the 60s and 70s here in California, especially these. Teenagers at the beach living it up in Speedos and bikinis, sun-kissed and soaking up the good life. Believe it or not, these are images from my own family in Iran at the Caspian Sea.
But look at the house.
One of my favorite things to do is to look through my mom's old albums.
Here's Mom with her cute outfit and her cute hair. That's my friend's wedding.
But it wasn't always all fun.
Unfortunately, my dad passed away at a young age. I think was 30-some, so my mother raised us all up. We all went to college. We all graduated. We all have good jobs.
And there was always a huge emphasis on education.
I was well educated. I had a good job in technology.
My mom excelled so much in school that in this picture, the Prime Minister of Iran, several dignitaries, her classmates, and her female principal are all commending her on her calculus.
But that's you at the front of the class.
When she was just 17.
Were you nervous?
Not as much as today.
A shy woman with stories I'm so proud to share.
We lived normal.
You lived a fun life, full of fashion. Do you still have that dress?
No.
Unfortunately, she didn't get to keep much from those days. When she fled Iran during the 1979 revolution, she thought it would be temporary.
But when you left, you really thought you could go back one day?
Yes. I packed a suitcase and temporarily decided to leave.
She was newly married to my dad, Parviz Iranpour. They had their wedding, and then seemingly overnight, freedom was completely stripped away under the government takeover by the Islamic Republic. I wasn't born too long after that. My parents actually spent the first few years raising me and my brother in Spain.
Unfortunately, after a while, we didn't see hope going back with this vicious regime. So we decided to come to US and started new life. I made khoresh lubia, vegetarian.
She has called the U.S. home for nearly 4 decades now, making sure Iranian traditions are not forgotten.
Now I have the bottom.
Even with her arthritis, she chops organic vegetables and herbs and makes crispy rice and potatoes known as tadig.
That's the Persian gold. It's so good.
I try to make it to taste good so you guys can enjoy, we all can enjoy.
From the traditional foods she grew up with, to sitting around for hours drinking tea or chai.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, Mom. I'm proud of you too.
My mom makes sure Iranian culture is ingrained in us. Even my little one, Roya, is learning Farsi and reads books from Iran thanks to our family. She also proudly takes the trolley to join other Iranians in weekly rallies.
My heart is with them.
Her wish is for all of us to one day go to a free Iran.
I hope these brave people in Iran will be able to reclaim the country. After 43 years, they really deserve a peaceful, happy, free life.
One we get to enjoy here, a life she worked so hard for, a life she never takes for granted.
The hardest interview I've ever done.
For CBS 8,
I love you, Mom. I love you.
I'm Netta Iranpour.
Netta, we love you. Thank you so much for sharing your family with us. Truly so, so beautiful. Well, you know it. Television news provides more than just today's headlines. Sometimes our strongest contribution is connecting people. So as we take you in the Zevely Zone, Jeff is in Skyline, where a mother is asking for our help.
As you prepare your holiday wish list, imagine asking for the gift of life.
I was diagnosed with lupus in 2001.
Michelle Leva's health is failing her.
I just didn't realize how sick I was.
Just like the 2 kidneys that quit on her.
I need a kidney transplant.
In 2011, after spending years on dialysis, Michelle received the miracle of a transplant.
I'm thinking I'm good to go. I'm going to live a long, happy, healthy life and not have any issues.
And just when this loving wife and busy mother caught her breath,
cancer.
Radiation and chemotherapy sent her into kidney failure.
I was devastated. I didn't know what to think at that time. I was like, what else can happen to me, you know?
Michelle slipped into a coma and was given days to live until
I woke up. I woke up from that coma that they did not expect me to wake up from.
You're a fighter.
Yeah. That's what they say.
Michelle married Andy 25 years ago.
She's the heart that beats in my chest. 100%.
Andy would love to give Michelle a kidney, but he's not a match. So they called us to help spread the word about finding a living donor. Our station is owned by a company called Tegna. Tegna owns more than 80 television stations, and we're hoping that this story is shared across America, and there's one family with a person who needs a kidney, and maybe we can save 2 lives here.
Right.
Andy lost 100 pounds and got off of diabetes medicine so that he can participate in a kidney exchange.
He's my best friend in the whole world, and just knowing that he's willing to do this and, you know, give a piece of himself to someone else just so that I can have a better life, you know, there's no words.
This holiday season, Michelle is hoping for another miracle.
The doctors said, we have no idea how you're here, standing here.
You may just have the only gift she needs.
That's part of why I wanted to reach out to you and share my story, because there could be somebody else in my same position that is just waiting and hoping.
In the Zevely Zone, Jeff Zevely, CBS 8.
More goosebumps. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing, and I sincerely hope we can help. For more information about Michelle's story and how to be screened to become a kidney donor, just click the help button on CBS8.com. Well, even with home prices falling, you may still feel like it's impossible to buy a home, but not all hope is lost. The San Diego Housing Commission says it has millions of dollars in funding to help new home buyers, and they want more people to take advantage of it. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is working for you to explain the details of the program.
The San Diego Housing Commission loans low-income home buyers the money needed for a down payment. They help people all over the county, including here in Otay Mesa, where Beatrice Lopez bought a condo last year. Beatrice Lopez gave me a tour of her 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Otay Mesa. It's much bigger than the 1-bedroom apartment she used to rent. Owning it, she says, is something she never imagined was possible. Beatrice lives here with her 12-year-old son. She has a fixed income and told me the only way she was able to purchase a home was through the San Diego Housing Commission, which provides 22% down payment loans to low-income buyers. Sujata Raman, who oversees the program, broke down what that would look like for a $600,000 home.
22% is $132,000. They're required to put 3% down payment, which equates to $18,000, and then they're getting a first mortgage for just $450,000.
To qualify, buyers must make less than 80% of San Diego's median income.
So a family of 4 needs to make below $104,100 a year to be able to qualify for our programs.
Also, you need to have a steady income so you can afford the mortgage. As for paying back the loan, the interest rate is 3%, but no money is owed until you sell, refinance, or in 30 years. The program helps people in both the city and county of San Diego, as well as neighboring cities, including Chula Vista and in the coming weeks, El Cajon. It's been around for decades, but what's unique right now is the fact there's still millions of dollars left to help people this fiscal year.
In years past, we would run out of money within a few months of us opening the program, but because it's become challenging and there's low inventory of homes being sold in San Diego, we have money still available to help buyers.
To help people even more in this competitive market, Sujata says they now offer pre-approvals and a guaranteed 30-day close. If you're interested, the first step is to check out the San Diego Housing Commission website to see if your income qualifies, then contact one of their listed loan officers to walk you through the process. Beatrice is happy she did, saying being a homeowner still feels like a dream. To see if you qualify or for more information about the San Diego Housing Commission's program, just log on to CBS8.com and click on this story. For CBS 8, I'm Shannon Handy.
Yeah, and remember, here at CBS 8, we are working for you. If there's an issue you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Well, 6 months ago, CBS 8 reported that someone was planning to open a Souplantation in La Mesa over the summer. Now we are learning that's not the case. I know a lot of people were looking forward to it. The chain closed down during the pandemic, and news of a new restaurant had many people again looking forward to its return. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe has more on why it's no longer happening.
The popular buffet won't be making a comeback after all. In fact, you can see the name on the building no longer says Souplantation. Instead, it says Golden Life, ADHC. After much anticipation, Souplantation won't be opening in La Mesa. A spokesperson for the building says that was never the plan. We spoke to her off camera, and she told us the woman who CBS 8 previously spoke to months ago is no longer affiliated with them. The spokesperson didn't want to go on camera, but did tell us that right now the building is undergoing renovations and is in the process of opening up Golden Life ADHC, a community-based adult services center.
To bring back the tables.
The woman CBS 8 spoke to in the previous report had stated the restaurant would be used to help feed seniors during the day and then open to the general public for the evening. The interest comes after many in the community began wondering what was happening at the building after a Souplantation failed to open, with many taking to the internet to voice their thoughts. One person said, "I don't think it was ever going to open. It feels like a scam." Another person said, "Who really thinks it makes business sense in a pandemic to start a new buffet?" Others took to the thread to comment on the fact that the buffet is never coming back. This person said Souplantation was a place of many family celebratory dinners, birthdays, events, and graduations. And in another comment, someone else said it was a great place to take your family. The spokesperson we spoke to says instead, Golden Life will serve the elderly, providing medical-based daycare for seniors. She says they hope to open sometime next spring and are waiting on the proper licensing to open the building. Rocio de la Fe, CBS 8.
Bummer, right? I'm with you. Well, going straight to the post office might be your best bet to avoid thieves this holiday season. The USPS says that thieves are targeting those blue drop-off boxes, so you want to be careful when sending gift cards, money, or checks. Anna Laurel is working for you. She shows us what the risk is and how to protect your presence.
Hi.
Hi. They're easy because I guess no one's really monitoring them.
She's right. No cameras, and these blue postal drop boxes just sit out 24/7 with people's personal information inside.
They've been vandalizing that one in Grossmont Center right behind their post office, and they have to keep taking it out and repairing it.
Someone in Spring Valley reported a sticky substance on the inside of the slot, catching envelopes. So we went to check it out.
So you can see how sticky it is. This is just inside, down on the lip. And so then thieves will come back and grab the letters that are stuck to that.
Yeah, I've felt the sticky stuff there before. That's why I push it down. Just put my hand through there, make sure it goes down.
We found several posts about the same sticky residue in mailboxes across town. I spoke with a woman in Bonita who dropped a Target gift card in a box, and it was cashed the same night. So just how bad of a problem is it? According to an audit by the Inspector General for the U.S. Postal Service, mail theft complaints increased by 161% from March 2020 to February 2021. Even more alarming, the Inspector General determined the exact number of arrow keys in circulation is unknown. Arrow keys are those master keys for the big blue mailboxes. An estimate by the Postal Service believes there could be millions of master keys out there. So what can we do to avoid becoming a victim? Avoid using those blue mailboxes. Go inside and drop off your mail. Use a gel ink pen. Certain types of ink, like gel ink, cannot wash off because they permeate below the surface of the paper. Pay your bills online so you aren't sending checks in the mail. And monitor your bank statements. They record your written checks that are cashed. With identity theft, mail fraud, and check theft schemes becoming more prevalent, the Postal Service says, just go inside.
Okay, well, I think I'll take it in.
In San Diego for CBS 8, I'm Anna Laurel.
Anna, important. Thank you, truly. And on Thanksgiving, nonprofits across the county served up hot meals for the needy. Dozens of volunteers with the Salvation Army passed out Thanksgiving meals with all the trimmings. The feast is an annual tradition, and the nonprofit was able to feed nearly 2,000 San Diegans this year. The Salvation Army has been serving Thanksgiving meals in San Diego for 39 years. And Father Joe's Villages also served up more than 900 meals with the help of volunteers. Besides a Thanksgiving meal, families in need were also given care packages with socks, masks, blankets, and hygiene kits. Families were even treated to live music and an appearance by the Father Joe mascot himself. And the Padres also gave back to families in need this week. Monday morning, Padres staff and some players gave more than 1,000 turkeys and Thanksgiving sides away to military families. The 20,000 pounds of food came from the San Diego Food Bank, Albertsons, and the Padre Foundation. Well, now to an Earth 8 Thanksgiving style. With the holiday now behind us, Evan Narani shares tips on how to still enjoy a zero-waste meal and overall reduce your environmental impact.
Aside from the full bellies expected after Thanksgiving, chances are you might also have some full trash bags. But there are some ways to keep the waste to a minimum this holiday season and still enjoy the food, drinks, and celebrations. For starters, and this first one is easy, ditch your paper plates and plastic utensils. You can use your normal cookware and eatery, that's likely dishwasher safe as well. You can also ditch the paper towels and napkins and opt for cloth that you can wash after the big meal. Next, reduce, reuse, recycle. You've heard that before, right? Well, try reducing the amount of food you're making, reusing the food that's left over for future meals, and then composting anything that's left after that. The easiest way to do that is to always get a head count of who's joining you so there aren't tons of leftovers. Anything that is left should still have a purpose. If you bought an extra can of green beans or cranberry sauce, for example, and it's still unopened, consider donating that to a local food bank. You also have the option to skip the meat as the main dish. Animal agriculture accounts for an estimated 15% of all greenhouse gas emissions. There are now more meat alternatives than ever before. Or if turkey is still the centerpiece, you can always opt for less meat than usual. The Center for Biological Diversity estimates that every year, 200 million pounds of turkey are thrown out across the U.S. They add 150 million pounds of side dishes are tossed out too. So sometimes it can come down to something as easy as getting a more accurate head count for the celebrations ahead to make sure the food you're preparing isn't overdoing it. All these steps can help cut down on both the environmental impact and the cleanup time once Thanksgiving comes to an end. Evan Narani, CBS 8.
And if you did cook a feast for Thanksgiving this year, you and your family may be eating leftovers for days. But how long is too long before leftovers can make you sick? Here's Brandon Lewis with our Verified team with what the experts are saying.
Thanksgiving was a time to come together, give thanks, and eat way too much turkey. In fact, most people don't eat everything on the dinner table, with the National Resources Defense Council estimating 200 million pounds of turkey will end up in the trash. So it's no surprise a top trending question on Google is about leftovers. But let's verify. Are leftovers safe to eat all weekend? Our sources are the USDA, the Mayo Clinic, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and a postdoctoral associate of food safety at Virginia Tech, who explains the time to think about storing leftovers starts almost immediately after Thanksgiving dinner is served.
Right away would be ideal. But, if possible, within 2 hours, you want to refrigerate those leftovers, especially making sure to break down any larger pieces of meat.
Duong says it's okay to put food that's still hot in the refrigerator. If properly stored, the Mayo Clinic says leftovers will hold for 3 to 4 days. So it's true. Leftovers are safe to eat all weekend if properly stored. Anything longer, and the USDA warns dangerous levels of bacteria start to grow. The CDC says cases of food poisoning caused by Clostridium, which grows in cooked foods, peak around the holidays. Many outbreaks are tied back to turkey, roast beef, and other leftovers. So if you don't think you can eat the leftovers by Monday, consider portioning it out and freezing some right away.
A freezer is sort of like a win-win situation where you sort of are able to keep food at that peak freshness for a lot longer compared to a refrigerator.
With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis for CBS 8.
Ooh, those leftovers are the best part, right? Brandon, thanks. Well, meantime, millions of families are now starting the search for a Christmas tree this week. But prices and supplies will depend on what you're looking for. Right now, retailers have a surplus of fake trees to sell, and many are offering discounts. You can expect to see anything from 25 to 60% off at certain places. But it's a different story for real Christmas trees. Certain kinds of trees may be hard to find, but there really shouldn't be any shortages. But those who want a real one will likely pay more because of inflation.
The height of the tree and the tree species are going to impact the price of that tree.
Friends, the holidays are here, so stay safe out there, stay grateful as always. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for staying informed, and hope you again had a great Thanksgiving. Join me each week as I take you around San Diego. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take good care of yourselves.